Well, hi everybody. Susan Fleischman here again on ZTV in our continuing series, meeting some of the amazing nonprofits and organizations here in Alexandria that are participating in this year's Spring to Action. And today I'm thrilled to be joined by Claire Sasson of the Tall Ship Providence, the executive director there. Hey, Claire, welcome.
Hi, Susan. Thanks.
Why don't you tell us a little bit about the Tall Ship Providence? Anybody in Alexandria loves it when it's there in the Potomac, and tell us all about it.
I'm happy to talk about Tasha Providence. So, Tasha Providence it's really a floating classroom. Our guests or our visitors get to experience what life was like on a tall ship during the Revolutionary War.
Cool. It is. I have been on it a few times, photographing it from every angle. It's just such a beautiful ship to photograph. And how did the? I mean, this is a easy question to answer. I know, but I mean, how did the 2020? How were you? What challenges did you face in 2020?
Well, Susan, like most organizations, Tall Ship Providence was impacted by the pandemic. Our staff was impacted, our operations were, but the biggest piece that impacted us is that we weren't able to open when we were scheduled to open. Um, the good news is that in July of 2020, we were finally able to open, although it was at a reduced capacity, but we found a way to make it work. And so we were thrilled to be able to open.
Terrific. Um, and how did, and I think you said last year was your first year participating in Spring to Action, right? What did that mean to you to be able to kind of count on that support? What kind of an impact did the donations make?
Well, the timing of Spring to Action was actually quite good for us in the sense that the pandemic closed everything down, and then Spring to Action happened shortly after. And so we decided to, all the funds that were raised during Spring to Action, we used to bring Tall Ship Providence online, which we had not previously done before. And shortly after Spring to Action, Tall Ship Tuesdays was born. And Tall Ship Tuesdays is an online account of naval and maritime history that is brought to our viewers every week by Captain John Paul Jones and his able seaman Erasmus Barlow. And they'll talk about, it might be sea shanties that are sung, or it might be tales of the sea and different stories. But the funds that we were able to raise from Spring to Action, we immediately turned around and put into this Tall Ship Tuesday program.
That's
So it's
fantastic.
fortunate, yeah.
Yeah, and this is the picture of this is the captain right here, right, with his sextant.
That is Captain John Paul Jones with his sextant, yes.
Wow, that's great. Yeah, these pictures are fantastic.
Oh,
Um,
that's sea shanties right there. It's our sea shanty group.
and what's this? Are they a choir?
They are the Tall Ship Providence sea shanty.
Nice.
Mhm.
Um, that is great. What do you have? What goals do you have for 2021? Obviously, everybody is happy to be little by little, kind of getting back into, uh, you know, getting together. Whether wearing masks, people are getting vaccinated. What are your goals for Tall Ship Providence in 2021?
Susan, we have three main goals for next year. One is to expand our education programs. We spent a lot of time in 2020 really looking and expanding our education programs, but we want to expand them further. So, one of the things that we've just unveiled about 2 weeks ago, we haven't even officially announced it, is our online virtual classes for kids. There's different topics. Kids can log in. They're a little less than an hour sessions. So we're really excited about that. But we want to expand our education programs more, particularly when the pandemic is over. Ideally, we would love for every fourth grader, not only in Alexandria, but in the surrounding areas, to be able to come and visit Tall Ship Providence and see again what life was like on a tall ship during the American Revolution. That's our first goal. Our second goal is to welcome more guests. Hopefully, our capacity will, with COVID, that will be expanded and we'll be able to welcome more people aboard. In a couple weeks, we're going to uprig the ship and the sails will go up. And then guests, big and small, will be able to come aboard and set sail with us. And while on board, our guests will be able to actually help hoist the sails. And so if anyone ever wanted to be a deckhand for 5 or 10 minutes or a little bit longer, we'll have the opportunity to do that. And our third goal for this year is we're going to be moving to our new location in front of Waterfront Park. And all of our operations will be in one place. We're incredibly excited to move. We're going to have a very large pier out in front of Waterfront Park. We'll have an education center and a naval history theater, the ship, and other activities. So those are our three main goals for 2021.
Well, those goals all sound great, and thank you for the for breaking the news of your first goal here on our in our interview. And I just can't. As a when my kids were in fourth grade, you learn so much about Virginia history, and I just can't think of a better vehicle, no pun intended, to have the tall ship Providence right there to learn about that really crucial time in our nation's history, and to let all the children around here know it happened in their backyard. I mean, it was right here. So super timely and really just a wonderful educational tool. I'm so glad that you're making the most of it. And
we are. Can I just add one more thing, Susan?
Of course.
We also started a scouting program for both boys and girls. And it's a program designed specifically for scouts. They'll come, they'll learn about maritime history and a little bit of naval history, and they'll also learn navigation, mechanical advantage, knot tying. And so we're really excited to be able to welcome larger scout groups to come and visit.
That's fantastic, and I love the expansion of the program to include scouting groups, and it's perfect. What a perfect fit that is. How can your donors and your just community supporters, help you in reaching these goals for 2021 and beyond?
Well, I mean, there's two ways. One, financial contribution would be fabulous, and we'd also love to have some volunteers. When we're bringing all these groups in, it would be wonderful to have extra docents on hand to be able to help us manage and work all these groups through.
That's great. And if someone were watching this and said, "Oh my gosh, I would love to work on the ship," should they reach you through your website at tallshipprovidence.org?
Absolutely, and they can email me and say volunteer or want to help, or we have they can donate online or just send us a check.
Oh, perfect. Well, that sounds great. And then my final question for today is, I want you to repeat after me and fill in the blank. I spring to action because...
I spring to action because it's a wonderful community and we are thrilled to be a part of it.
I couldn't agree more, Claire. That's wonderful. Thank you so much for your time and for describing all the wonderful work and the wonderful things going on at Tall Ship Providence. I'm really excited for you, and I hope that you meet all your goals. And good luck in Spring to Action 2021.
Thank you, Susan. Thanks for having us.
Sure thing. Take care.